You're like the only person I've seen that did a video about it that mentioned my name. Everybody else, I'm the guy that asked Destiny if he was on speed.
Yeah, just like you won't even own the insult, right? Like, oh, I didn't know. So it was just an innocent question. That's not an innocent question. What are you talking about?
No. I am very.
That's an innocent. Are you on drugs?
People using drugs, yes.
What are you doing there, guy? I wonder what that is. Pretty ballsy to accuse somebody of smoking or doing something like speed when you're sitting there puffing on that.
In your video, you made it seem like I was a hypocrite because I was smoking pot. Did I say it was a bad thing he was on speed? He took it as a bad thing.
That is a good point. These extremists are engaging in a debate to debate how stupid a debate is. The moment these 5 agreed to debate, they lost.
I didn't say that debate was. I forget how you framed it. That's what I said was a straw man. My point was like, don't take Destiny seriously and don't take online debate seriously. Okay, I am really bad about fucking names up. So I'm sorry if I fuck yours up. Arthemesia, is that close?
I think so. I think it's...
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't even know how to pronounce your own name.
No, there's so many different pronunciations of it. Arthemesia.
What do you say?
I usually go with Arthemesia. But I've had people correct me, and then actually I've had people fight over the name. Some people call me Artie, but my actual name is Nick.
Do you want to be called Nick? What do you want to go by?
Yeah, Nick works.
Call me Justin. You can call me Freak Daddy, whatever you want.
Hey, sounds good to me. Is my camera working?
Doesn't appear to be.
Do I have to turn this off for that to work? That's weird. Just try to get...
Boom! There we go.
Alrighty.
Because my chat was really complimentary of your hair, so I'm glad. And I dig your guitars in the background.
Thank you. That's. I wonder why it's reversed. That's weird. It
can't
reverse somehow.
Discord's like that. You can flip it.
Let's see if this controller will work now.
I think it's in the settings.
Let's see.
I like that somebody corrected me on your name, Ducky, and wanted me to call you Ducky.
Where is...
Speaking of which, since we're talking about names, that was one of the things you said in your video about me was like, what a weird name, JustinFREAKIN. I'm like, Arthemesia is saying I got a weird fucking name. What?
No, exactly. That was kind of... I'm not great at telling jokes. I've never been good at delivery, to be honest. I try every now and then. I just kind of say things that are funny on my mind, and that came across probably not exactly the best way to do it. My name being as weird as it is, I like to point out at everyone else's names, even when they're not that weird, to just call them weird.
As an editor, like a quick cut to like your channel name with your logo or something, like we really would have drove that home, that point, and like the joke would have really come through.
Yeah, I'm just getting into video editing. I've always done audio. It's been a weird journey to learning how to do it, video editing in general, and I'm getting there. I think just learning how to make everything look better with lighting in general was a huge help.
Lighting is really important.
Absolutely, it's way more important than the camera. I found out. I had no idea.
Absolutely,
this camera looks amazing, and it's literally an $80 Logitech like little webcam.
Man, I bought a much more expensive camera than this one, and it shit the bed on me, and I had to go back to this one. And I'm just like, fuck it. Yeah, do you play music, or are you an engineer? What do you do?
Oh, mainly music. I record myself. I had a full setup to record a band, and then a couple times of that being really bad. I won't name what they were, but they were...
Man, if you can get you a studio going, that's like prime money, especially if you engineer for people. That's some good dough right there.
Yeah, I really wanted to get into it, and then I just hated the process of working with people who
Creatives are difficult.
Yeah, they are very difficult. Because, you know, I got some pretty decent amps, and, you know, I used to have different ones back in the day. I had a 5153 and a Mesa Mark IV. And a lot of people think that they have their own sound, not really understanding what that means. Would try to have me reamp them through like a really crappy Line 6 speaker or something like that, and it just came across really bad. And I was like, I don't think you all understand. It's not going to work in a mix like this. This amp is so shrill that whenever it's just crazy. Whenever the drummer would hit a cymbal, like just a ride cymbal or something really hard, those signals would compete with each other so hard it would just clip. And you know, you got to figure out how to balance those signals together.
Yep.
Don't compete with each other, or it just sounds like a nasty mess. And eventually, I kind of got some advice, and they were like, "Look, just go ahead and reamp their amps through a good amp, and tell them it was their bad amp." And I was like, "Oh, okay, we'll see how that works." And they couldn't tell. They could not tell it wasn't their amp, and they said, "See, this turned out exactly the way we thought it would." And I was like, "Yep, you're absolutely right. Go tell everyone that was your amp."
There you go. Part of being an engineer is like being a salesperson as well, and having people think that your idea was their idea.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Passing that shit. And that's a lot of business too. That's how you get ahead in the business world.
Oh yeah, but I just have a lot of fun recording myself. I need to get a band together or something, but with kids, it's just been difficult. And
oh, you're a breeder, are you?
oh yeah, I got two little ones myself. A guy who is way more talented than me on guitar.
Well, you know us Democrats, you know, we think it's not too late to abort them. You can like just chop their heads off right now. That's a thing we're totally into.
No, absolutely, exactly.
We watched one of your videos earlier, man. It was the SpongeBob with the color. What do they call those things you get from like a paint store? The swatches.
Yeah,
Color swatch.
Oh god, swatch. Yeah, color swatches. I thought that. Oh, I was dying laughing. My daughter was pointing it out. She goes, "What are they doing?" And I was like, I don't know. I really think that's funny.
I don't get what you're. What is the joke? Can you explain it to me?
Oh, it's kind of like you know, no whites allowed. And you saw the white people in the dumpster, and then you also see him throw the baby in the dumpster.
Are we talking about the DNC?
Well, not specifically the DNC. Actually, that would have been a funny thing to equate it to.
Would it have been? Because did you see how white that motherfucker was?
Absolutely, exactly. That's what's. It was just all around really funny. I didn't expect to see that in a SpongeBob episode, so I thought it was pretty funny. Man, that show, going back to it, I understand why that was Dimebag Darrell's favorite show.
Oh, okay. You know that it is based off of a Ween album, right?
Oh wait, really?
Yes. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. It is meant to be understood on two different levels. It really is meant for adults and kids.
Absolutely, I've been enjoying it. It's one of the funniest shows.
And Tom Kenny, excellent.
Oh, absolutely, that guy is insane. His many voices, his resume, I guess you would say in general, is just insane. That guy's awesome.
I love how I try to get on politics and we end up going back to like pop culture.
Yeah.
That's what we're really gonna agree on. I don't exactly know your politics. The only thing I watched was the video about the encounter I had with Destiny. And I can't wait to dive into a couple of those things.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I watched the little short with the SpongeBob earlier.
Yeah. It shoot. How would I put it?
And I don't fault you. Like I thought you did a good job. Like your video looks really crisp.
I appreciate that.
Your delivery, like you need to move your whatever you're reading off of, get it closer to your eye line so you're not like
Yeah.
looking off. That was the only thing that kind of like, was making my eye to it. I'm a broadcaster. I've worked in TV and radio my entire life. Like that's all I've ever done.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a musician, and I've got no fucking talent. I got no rhythm. I've got no pitch, no nothing. So became a broadcaster. Dude, I do have a voice. Yeah, so
music, it's actually it's so much easier to get into than what people realize. You got to find the right teacher. And that's really what it comes down to, because I've had a couple of really bad teachers and I could not get a single note out of a guitar at all. And when I found the right person to come in, he taught me how to play Knocking on Heaven's Door in a day. And then the next week when he came by and he taught me how to go through the entire song, Patience by Guns N' Roses as well. And I couldn't get anything accomplished with the other two teachers I had previously. So it just always depends on, and it's not necessarily that they were bad teachers. I'm sure they were really good. I just did not understand what they were trying to lay down.
No.
And
I took piano for 9 years. I took a year of guitar lessons. I was a music minor in college the first time. I was in show choir from 5th grade until my senior year of high school. I was in the chorus, and my voice changed. I could actually sing before my voice changed. After my voice changed, it was all over. Like, I couldn't hit fucking shit. I'm in a weird register. So, like, broadcaster.
Oh.
I do play the skin flute from time to time.
There was another person who had a lot of trouble for years and years and years of getting, how would I say it?
You're going to be giving me guitar lessons before this is over with, aren't you? You want to break it out?
You can always give it a shot.
Hey, do you had, like, you got your amp right there? Can you give us a few licks? Oh, I see an acoustic. Grab your acoustic.
Actually, I don't know if I can. I could probably plug it into my Axe Effects, but will this let me run? I haven't done this in a long time. Do I have? Oh, I can switch it. Oh, they made this so much better.
I feel like you're doing everything you can to avoid politics. Is that what we got going on here?
No. We can definitely do.
You want to go nose to nose with the leftist? Play Wonderwall. Are you excited about Oasis?
Right? Oh, geez, I haven't heard that in a long time. Purposely, obviously.
Well, I mean, they're going on a reunion tour.
Are they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they just announced it this week.
Holy cow! That's wow. I had no idea. But yeah, I can. So I can bust one of those out here a little later on. I do want to say, so I didn't mean to misrepresent you or anything like that.
You call me a tanky.
No.
No, I'm like, the chat calls me, like, my chat is probably far more leftist than I am, because I did news for years. I've met Mitch McConnell, I've met representatives, governors, and shit. Like, I'm kind of more of an institutionalist, more of a on the sock dim side, probably.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I made a bit of an assumption in my video when it was everyone against Destiny. And it seemed like you all were in a lot of agreement, and I was like, okay, they're probably all on the same page. And really, most of the arguments that I was arguing against were from Kevin Logan. I know that guy's politics pretty well.
I don't, but he's cool to me. Like, we've been cool together.
Oh, for sure, I would imagine.
I met him that day. Like, I didn't know anybody else on the panel. First of all, yeah, there's no context, so.
I thought I'd seen you before, but maybe I was wrong.
So. You could have seen me like with other people or something, but I'd never been on one of Wick's panels, and probably won't get invited back again.
I understand that.
I didn't know anyone else that was on the panel, and also like I was a last minute like filling in for somebody else. I didn't even know Destiny was going to be on there like until I saw him. And
gotcha.
I'm not like Wick wanted to bring on people that were like hate watchers of Destiny. I don't really even consume other people's content. Like very little, as I told you, I'm into cooking and music and I'm gaming and wrestling and shit. Like you can't have the politic brain. It'll fuck you up. Right and left.
That's kind of why I tried stepping back from it a lot of the times. So when I get online, I am way different on like Twitter and Facebook than I am in person in general. I try to push people's buttons, but then
You're a griefer.
They're gonna get pushed too. Yeah, exactly. Online. Well, not in videos or in person or anything, but when it comes to Twitter and Facebook, I try to mess with people as much as I can.
Oh, me too.
But sometimes people can really mess with me a lot better than I can mess with them, and they end up winning. And it's like, well, lesson learned.
Hey, you and I were both wanting to have the last word, because for context, this is Arthemesia. Did I say it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
It was some. I'm in several of them. It was like U.S. politics, no filter, or Republican versus Democrat, some shit like that. It was one of those groups I met him in, and like you dropped that thing about the cookies and the rocket, and I'm like, the fuck. This dude saw the Destiny thing, and I guess I was commenting for my JustinFREAKIN page, wasn't I?
Oh, yes.
Okay, cool,
I
yeah.
saw that, and I was just trying to make a quick little jab at something that I figured would be obscure.
Well, okay, so like I kind of went a little like semi-viral, a tiny bit viral, like almost on streamer fails, right? But nobody said my fucking name. You're like the only person I've seen that did a video about it that mentioned my fucking name. Everybody else, I'm the guy that asked Destiny if he was on speed. Now, I will say that one of my best friends, my ex-girlfriend, she swears, she's like, just go ahead and admit it. You were like, you're trying to get a jab in on it. And I'm like, you know me better than anybody. I'm just like blurting out the first thing that came to my mind. Like, dude, you're on speed. I made no value judgment about it. Maybe I would have wanted to do speed with him. It's like,
there's that.
In your video, you made it seem like I was a hypocrite because I was smoking pot. But did I say it was a bad thing he was on speed? He took it as a bad thing.
That is a good point. Yeah. But yeah, I guess it was the way that because Destiny, I mean, first of all, he's very good at framing.
Really didn't like me after that too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I imagine he probably wouldn't have even liked me after my video. What
was your conclusion? I only watched the part about me because I'm a narcissist, right? What was your conclusion on him? Destiny's grifter, right?
So, actually, no.
God damn it! Come on.
So I think he believes everything he says. I think he's just out of
I think you can be a grifter and believe it. That was one of the things I took issue with your video. I think you can absolutely be a grifter and believe what you say.
That's a tough one. I think for me, the way that I've always seen grifters, the way that they act, is if they really don't believe the BS, but they're still trying to sell it to an audience, it's like, man, you don't even believe what you're saying, and you're trying to get others to believe it for that money, And when it comes down to it, it's like snake oil salesman is kind of how I look at grifters. I think that's actually kind of the definition of it.
Yeah.
Like they use that. Yeah, and it's like if you're selling me BS just so you can get a quick paycheck, that just stinks in general. And I think Destiny's too proud and too arrogant.
Absolutely.
I think he's wrong. And I'd actually almost rather him be a grifter at that point.
And that was one of the things that, like, I didn't say that debate was, I forget how you framed it. That's what I said was a straw man. My point was, like, don't take Destiny seriously and don't take online debate seriously. Like, none of it. I do a show called The Troll Patrol. Don't take any of it seriously.
No, understand that. When I made the comment about it was hypocritical for people to be arguing about debate working or not, and for the people to be against debates, thinking it doesn't work at all, I was saying that is a blanket thing in general. Anyone on that side, I think, would be hypocritical.
Here's my thing is Destiny actually comes out and says like he's only had 2 debates, and like it's all the fuck he does is he sits up all day and fucking makes content with people debating this, debating that. And like he's only had
speed.
Exactly. And like that was another thing that was confirmed to me in the streamer fails was like his community knew he was on some sort of ADHD medicine, which he probably takes to be able to sit and stream and make the money all day, which is kind of a grifter.
I think it's kind of a fine line between Well, I don't even know if it's a fine line. I think everyone who gets prescribed medication tends to be like, well, since it is my medication, I'm not really doing drugs. But first of all, it has a warning label on it that you can't operate machinery for a reason.
Well,
Second of all is... Oh, sorry.
No, this like a cognitive dissonance thing, right? So like Elvis did it. He didn't think he was a drug. Like he was on all these prescription pills, and then he would go out, thought he got like Nixon to deputize him, right? He goes out in Memphis, and he's like shooting at drug dealers while he's high out of his fucking mind. It's crazy. Exactly. And there's like, Michael Jackson didn't think he was doing drugs because it was from a doctor and shit. Like it's a rationale that people tell themselves, and that's I would say Destiny suffers from that as well. That's why I would still call him a grifter. He believes, he has convinced himself, and it's a feedback loop. When your chat reaffirms you over and over again, and they tell you what you're doing is right, and you gain more followers by doing this, and like you've convinced yourself because that's what's making you money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, shoot, here in about the next 10 minutes, I think I'm going to be getting closer to your level here.
Oh, are you drinking? Hell yeah. Light one up, tip one back, man.
Oh, no. I took a gummy.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is just some sweet tea. Yeah.
Look at sweet tea's my favorite, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have a sweet tea every now and then, trying to drink mostly water. Cut out all smoke. Cut out.
You a health freak? I mean, I don't want to say it that way, as if freak is a bad word to me.
So my audience doesn't know this yet. I had a real hard time back in with the channel back in October and had to step away for a while. I'm probably going to tell them at some point, but my wife was recently diagnosed with some serious autoimmune issues.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all it seems to actually be all good. We found out by cutting out carbs and all this stuff that her symptoms stopped flaring up completely. And we're looking at, most of the time when people have some sort of autoimmune thing crop up, it seems to be related to gut health. And once you get your gut health under control, it seems to put that, depending on what type of autoimmune issue it is, it puts it into a, what would you call it, remission? Or is it remission whenever it starts back up?
But remission's when it's receding.
Receding, okay. So it goes into remission, and man, if these people don't stop calling me. But yeah,
You're a popular man.
Oh god, no, it's scammers.
Oh.
I've had my phone number since I was like 16. It's time to change it because I get probably, I think today I had 62 spam calls. Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
Use the block button, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Block them shits.
New numbers.
A lot of new phones have, like, once you block a few of them, they get to know what they are and shit, and they'll automatically report them as spam.
Yeah, I wish they would. I don't know what AT&T's doing, but...
Oh, fuck AT&T.
Yeah. Right.
All right, man. Who you voting for in the election?
Oh, so I'll definitely be casting a vote towards Trump this election.
Interesting. This election, have you voted for somebody else previously?
So last election I voted Trump, but the election before that I voted Gary Johnson. And
I was kind of figured you'd be a libertarian type.
Well, actually, the funniest thing, the reason why I voted for him was that interview he did when that Republican was reading out her notes saying that, did you know the moment you take one puff of marijuana, your risks for a heart attack. Heart attack
sounds fun.
Exactly. It says like your chance for a heart attack goes up by like 300% or something ridiculous. And as soon as she said that, Gary Johnson grabbed his chest and fell to the floor and started pretending like he was seizing. And everyone's like, yo, did Gary Johnson just low-key say that he smoked weed before this set?
And that's what won you over.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying that's not a based move or anything, but I don't know if I would base my presidential vote on that one thing.
Well, it was Hillary and Trump running against each other.
It sucked. I didn't vote that election. Boy, was I wrong, too. I'd go back and vote for Hillary.
Yeah, what freaked me out about Hillary was when she was wanting to put that no-fly zone over Syria. And I was like, yo, Russia will violate that, and we will go to war with Russia if that happens. I was like, that's not a good idea. And that was right at the time, I think, they thought, oh God, what's his name? Not Muammar Gaddafi, but who's the president of Syria again?
Assad.
President, dictator, Assad. Yeah. The whole thing when they came out with Assad gassing his own people, and then
I still don't know what to think. That we've got like conflicting reports. I don't know enough about foreign policy to make an informed decision on whether he used chemical weapons or not. And that's why I wish more people would come forward and be able to say that sort of thing on a topic, because don't know enough about it, brother.
No, absolutely. And that was my exact position. Well, still is my exact position today. And I was like, I don't want to go to war for a country that's not even an ally of ours. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't want to do that. So when she said that ruled her out. But then whenever I saw...
Interesting. That was the issue, your number one issue?
Yeah, it just... Going to war with Russia in general, or going to war with any major country. We go to war with, Middle Eastern countries and stuff. It's not that I think that's... Because I'm super anti-war. My whole policy is we need to pull out of every single war we're in, worry about ourselves for a bit, and then when an ally is in trouble, we can go to their call, but we need to not be just in these forever wars.
I agree.
We've been in Iraq for way too
long. That
long.
is absolutely something we can agree on. But we were the side with the anti-war protests and everything. It was that's what one of the things that animated me into politics, because I'm 19 in 2003 or something, and I really became part of I was president of the Young Republicans in high school, and then became very anti-war because of Iraq.
That's hilarious. When I was in high school, I was a bleeding heart liberal. I wanted Obama to win. I was all for every bit of that. And
every bit of it, because so far, it kind of seems like you're on your feels. Obama got you in your feels. Is that right? It was a vibe.
Absolutely, yeah. In high school, it's funny. I remember one kid printed off all these Obama is my homeboy shirts and put them out. And, yeah.
I read The Audacity of Hope. I was a little hyped on him as well, 2007, I guess, when that came out.
Yeah. I guess it would have been 2007. Yeah, it's, I was in, what grade would I have been in? Was I a sophomore? Yeah, I can't quite remember.
And here's the thing, is if your number one issue is being, anti-war, I kind of can't fault you for Trump, because he has, at one point in time, said, let's bring all of our troops home.
Exactly.
One of the things that I agree with him most was the Afghanistan withdrawal. Of the things I would give Trump credit for, the other would be the First Step Act.
Absolutely. One of the
But that's that pales in comparison to all the other dumb shit he did, right?
No, absolutely. What really got me, because it was Obama's second year in office, and I think I did get to vote. So I voted Obama in 2012. I just turned 19.
2012 would have been that would have been the second presidential election. His second term.
So I got to vote for the first time, and I actually voted for him.
Yeah, because fuck Mitt Romney.
Yeah, well, God, Romney sucked. At the end of the day, I don't know that there was much of a difference between the two. I don't know that there was much of a difference between Obama and Bush. Just all Obama did in my eyes was just keep forwarding us further and further into Bush's wars.
Okay, no, well, first of all, we lost significantly less troops. They converted to more drone strikes, which actually ended up with more casualties. So I mean,
right.
That's
kind of still
you're trading shit out. I don't know. I don't want to say that he deepened the wars. It just fought it on a different kind of level. He actually took out Osama bin Laden. There's that one thing.
Yeah.
But foreign policy isn't really the thing that I focus on, man. The Obamacare was legitimately a good thing. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. I had many friends get insurance because of it. I think I have people in the chat will tell you they have insurance because of it. It's objectively a good thing. No, was it enough? Was it a perfect plan? By far, no. It didn't go near far enough. But it was a step in the right direction, and insurance costs would have skyrocketed without it. Obama also invested a lot into roads, bridges, and shit. And like, we desperately need infrastructure investment in this country, and Biden did it as well.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, on that aspect, when it came to the insurance and everything he did for that, to me, it felt like he ended up empowering the insurance companies to a point where
it was an insurance company handout plan. That's exactly what it was. In order to pass some sort of this is my thing. I'm a realist. In order to pass some sort of legislation, they had to make it a giveaway to the insurance companies, just because there's so much money in our politics.
Yeah, and it's devastated our hospitals badly. My wife, she's a nurse.
That's not what's devastated our hospitals. Consolidation has devastated our hospitals. I've seen it here. Every hospital. No, that is the driving force. Because like, if you believe in free markets, you want competition.
Yeah, but there's also so unfortunately there's a government side to this that's really, really, really devastated the hospitals bad. And it is one of the worst policies I've ever heard of. And it's
based on what?
What do they call it? Patient satisfaction scores. If your patient satisfaction scores drop down below a certain amount, you will lose government funding. And it's horrendous. This is what's caused the absolute insane opioid epidemic that's been going on. So if somebody...
Oh, brother.
And you don't give them that medication that they're asking for, then they will report you, and you will lose government funding, and it's horrible.
You know what an anecdotal fallacy is, right?
What do you mean?
You're just throwing out something like, there's no way to verify that claim.
Oh no! It's very easy to verify.
No, it's not. That is
patient satisfaction scores.
You can verify that it's a thing that exists. You can't verify that like that's causing all these hospitals to lose money because junkies are giving them bad scores.
Oh no, they're not losing money. They're gaining a lot of money. So doctors are not fighting this. They're absolutely giving them all the medication. Every bit of it.
Doctors are not I assure you, doctors are not handing out pain pills like candy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they are. It's unbelievably bad.
It was unbelievably bad in the 90s when they were duped by the pharmaceutical companies. Now, fucking doctors do not hand out pain pills like candy. That is not a thing.
No, it's definitely a thing.
Not a thing, I assure you.
Well, how do you come about saying it's not that they're not handing them out anymore?
Because I have watched the crackdown. I've seen the drug task in Eastern Kentucky. It was called the Unite Task Force that would bust doctors called pill mills, and like they would shut these pharmacies down. They would perp walk the pharmacists out
when they were selling. You're talking about whenever doctors would take medication, they would sell them on the streets, and
no. Because there's things called doctor shopping and shit. Like, man, like,
yes.
Trust me, like, I did news for years. This is a topic, like, I've covered extensively. Like, they crack down on it. There are not doctors that are prescribing pain pills anymore because they are scared to death of getting busted because of the operations that took place in the late 2000s and the early 2010s. It's almost impossible to get medication that you need nowadays.
It really depends because the majority of the population going into the hospital are homeless. And it's unbelievably wild how bad it's getting.
I would say you mean the ER.
Well, yes.
And I think that would vary from city to city. I doubt, in the city I'm in, that would be true.
So, for Tulsa is a good example.
A decently large city.
Yeah, they come into the ER. They go throughout the entire hospital
without a lot of social safety nets because it's a red state.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily without safety nets because it's they're still getting all serviced, 100%. Nobody's allowed to be turned away. But
at an ER, yeah.
Yeah, and,
But that's not the care you need in order to be healthy, my friend. They don't have access to primary care, which is what we all need to have a right to in order to live full, healthy lives.
No, I agree. Everyone needs to be able to have their healthcare taken care of. For a lot of these people, though, they're ending up in ERs, and what we should have is, and of course the word is terrible, but insane asylums, I guess you know, is what they used to be called. Nowadays,
No, we just need access to healthcare for everybody, and then they can get the mental health they need. You don't need to stick the unwanteds in an insane asylum. That's really short. Like, it's really shitty.
Right, no, I'm saying the stick. What are they? What am I trying to think? A mental health institution, I guess, is what you would call it. But there are a lot of people out there, like people on the streets, who cannot take care of themselves, that really need someone. How would I put it? Like, they need someone to have custody over them, I guess you could say.
According to a 2024 study, 5% of emergency department visits in the southeast U.S. involve patients who are homeless or housing insecure. 5%.
Wait, what study is that from? Because this is
flash cited in the chat.
I don't know about that because, well, I mean, maybe in the United States, but definitely not where I'm from.
Are you not in the United States?
With this. Well, I mean, like, in the United States as a whole, but not specifically in my area. Like, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the homeless population inside the hospitals is so bad that they literally have patients outside of rooms in beds just waiting to get into a room for hours and hours.
Well, that is a staffing shortage and underfunding of our hospitals because these gigantic corporations are coming in and trying to run them for profit, and people aren't actually getting the care they need. Every ill in this country can be traced back to the capitalistic incentive. Things like healthcare shouldn't be run that way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Healthcare should not be run the way it is. Now, what I meant by mental institutions, though, is obviously there's a lot of people who could get their mental health probably treated and they would be fine. But there's also a lot of people who absolutely will never be fine, and they're just out on the streets left and forgotten about.
That's a very small percentage. They've done studies where like they've given every like homeless person a house in a locale, and like 3 out of 4 of them become like employed and integrate back into society.
But some of them do, and some of them.
It was like 3 out of 4. That's a fantastic success rate.
But I mean, I was making.
It's usually just people down on their luck, man. It's not like they have like a major malfunction. Some do. Some have long-term mental health issues because they can't get the care they need, that they spiral out of control.
Right. Well, I would probably argue most of them have some sort of mental health issue going on to keep them homeless. Because I mean, they could go and they can get Section 8. They can get a lot of programs that we.
There's not a little, bro. Do you know how hard it is to get Section 8?
Not entirely how hard it is.
It is insanely hard to get Section 8. There are people that have been on waiting lists for a decade for Section 8. Like, man, I really hate it when, like, people that consider themselves conservative start coming on and talking about, like, all the shit that, the government, like, hands out. I'm literally from one of the poorest areas of the fucking country. The government ain't handing out shit, brother.
Well, no. That's not the argument I'm making. What I'm saying is, so the whole point, actually, I'll go ahead and I'll just make my point. I'm upset that we have a country that has even one homeless person that we can't do anything for.
And we have more empty houses than we have homeless people.
Right. But, I mean, and, you know, like I said, some of those homeless people, you could put them in an empty house, and unfortunately, they're just not going to be able to do anything with it, and it'll fall apart on them.
Most of them integrate back into society.
Sure. I mean, well, like I said, I can concede that. I'm just saying that the fact that there are some that don't means we really should have invested more into our mental health institutions to help these people out, to give them housing, to have somebody there to take care of them. It's
not about building asylums where, like, you know, we give people lobotomies and shit. It's about, like, having access to primary care.
Right.
Which is universal health care. I'm turning you into a Libbers, you see?
Right, exactly. No. these are just old points that I've always stuck with. There's a lot of very liberal ideas that I really, really like and would really like to see implemented. Because I'm not a Republican.
Then why are you voting for Donald Trump? Just the foreign policy?
So, not just the foreign policy. His illegal immigration policy, which that badly affected me back in 2014. I got hit head on by an illegal immigrant. He was going 85 on 11th and Sheridan in a 40 zone and slammed into me head on. Sent me to the hospital. My deductible, because I was only 21, my deductible for my car was $1,000, and then my deductible for my health insurance was $1,000, and that left me in the hole at $2,000. Luckily, he did $50,000 worth of damage, and that was covered by the insurance. But he was locked up. He got arrested, was in jail for 12 hours, and then let go. And that was the last I ever saw or heard anything about him. Tried to get his information to sue him, but you can't sue somebody that either A, gives a fake name, or B, is unable to be found. Like, I don't even know where he went. He could have went back to Mexico, or maybe he just went to a different state. But it's really, really difficult to track somebody like that. And that sucked really bad. That was quite the nightmare. And then I also got to see so many businesses in Tulsa, like the Eastland Mall and so many other places get shut down because they got busted with using illegal, I guess you would call it slave labor.
Yes. The answer to that is to legalize them, give them a robust path to citizenship, temporary visas. A lot of people that are here, and also conservatives don't distinguish. Like, there are people that are seeking asylum and are perfectly legal.
Sure, there are some people, but I mean, if they
may be undocumented
to America, right? Well, if someone comes to America to seek asylum and they're not in an asylum area, I wouldn't consider them seeking asylum.
Well, that's at any border. Like, just surrender at the border.
Right.
That's all asylum is.
Yeah. I mean, that would be fine. Surrender at the border.
That's what they do.
Wherever they move you and get processed. But there are a lot of the people that aren't, or that are just freely roaming into our cities and stuff like that, who do not have some sort of passport or some sort of green card.
But that's because our system makes it difficult to do that.
It does. I do agree that our system absolutely needs to be changed.
Yeah. We just invest more money in immigration lawyers and judges, and we grant people like a temporary visa. You can be here for 5 years temporarily. You don't fuck up. We grant you citizenship at the end of that if you fill out the paperwork, take the test, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and
they can drive, they can work, they can contribute to society, and they pay taxes. And then they can't be taken advantage of by... The problem is corporations. It's always corporations.
I agree with that. Yes. 100%.
It's not the poor person that's coming here for a better life because they want to live the American dream. That's what a libertarian should want a hardworking person to do. And if they have trekked from South America to get here, they're a hardworking, determined person, and they deserve a fucking shot at the American dream. So the answer is not Trump to deport fucking everybody. The answer is to reform our system in a more kind and compassionate way. I can show you Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush saying that. The Republican Party's gone full-on fascist about this, and that scares the shit out of me.
I don't know that
they want to deport fucking 30 million people. That's like literally their number one thing in this election.
No, I understand that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I understand where you're coming from on that. But the fact is there are way too many illegal immigrants here that should not have come and should not have gotten access to the country. And that was a failure on our government.
Why?
So here's the thing. When people come into our country and we have no idea who they are and the amount of damage that they can cause or the murder...
They are vetted. They are vetted when they come across, especially if they're surrendering for asylum.
If that were true, I feel like that there wouldn't have been those murders, and I also feel like I probably would.
Brother, the statistics say that immigrants are less likely to commit crime.
Well, maybe the statistics say that, right? And maybe some.
Oh, but your feels say differently, right? That's a right wing thing.
Well, no. So here's the angle I'm coming at from this is 34 million people come into the country illegally. And let's say only 1% of them ever commit any crimes. The problem is because they weren't properly vetted or made into a citizen or anything along those lines, we actually have no idea who those people are.
Once again, that's reforming the system and allowing a path to citizenship.
No, exactly. So I think
that's the opposite of the Trump deport brown people, round them up on a bus. That costs $10,000 a head, by the way. I'd rather just give them $10,000. What the fuck?
Right, but a lot of the illegal immigrants that have come over, some of them are white, some of them are from the Middle East, some of them are from China.
We're getting a lot from China. I was getting ready to say.
And it's they know how to get in. They know they go down to the southern border and they can just cross right on over.
Because it's America, we're supposed to be welcoming. It's kind of our thing.
We can be welcoming, but there's no other country in the world that does that, and we've never.
What does that mean?
Well, we don't know.
I wouldn't be here if my fucking ancestors didn't come over and just shove their dicks in people's faces.
Well, they all had to end up at a
it's weird. I don't. You said you're part native. Did I get that right?
Oh yes.
So I kind of can't fucking say as much about it because I have no business fucking being in this country. So you might have a little more say about that than me.
So the way the Cherokee Nation, and actually usually the 5 civilized tribes, view things is if you're born in America, you are a Native American. That's typically how the tribe sees things. The Cherokee Nation in general, at least, has really gotten way past the whole, all white people here, everyone else that's here that wasn't born here natively in the 1800s or before, or even before that.
The Cherokee Nation has gotten past their genocide when the U.S. hasn't even atoned for it.
Right, and
we need a reckoning with our horrid past on race.
I don't know. I think the best reckoning we can do is everyone
shut up about it, move on.
Yeah, I do think that's the best way we can.
You don't think you have to atone? Even the steps to the AA will be you have to atone and make amends and shit. Apologize to people for the wrongs you've caused.
The best way to atone is to...
Germany does the exact opposite thing, man. They educate their people. They want their people to know about the atrocities they committed so that it never happens again.
Sure, but just because I had Cherokee family that was murdered by white people way back in the day doesn't...
Fuck whitey, man. I'm totally about it. We need to own up to that shit.
Nah, I don't think anybody needs to own up to something they didn't do. I can't put that.
But that has an effect and it reverberates through generations.
Maybe, but I think the best...
It's not a maybe about it.
Oh, I have to disagree. But the angle I would come from is if you're teaching your children that kid over there isn't any different than that kid standing next to him and they're completely different shades, be like, yeah, one got more sunlight than the other. And
we do teach that.
Right. I think that's the only way to atone, is if they don't see people as differently just based on the color of their skin, then everything forward is, how would I put it? Will bring prosperity. Nobody's going to judge somebody based on the color of their skin on hiring. Everyone's going to have equal opportunity. But if we keep throwing this racial thing in everyone's face, people are always going to feel awkward around each other. People are always going to think to themselves, a white guy's going to look at a black guy and be like, oh, I need to change the way I'm acting right now, and I need to start acting appropriate for him.
Everybody does that in any social situation.
Right. Now, I would like to get rid of that.
But everybody does that in any social situation because that's just what it is to interact with people.
Well, when it comes based on skin color, though, that should...
Because believe me, people do not like me acting like me just all the time. Because believe me, I do.
No, understand that. You got to adjust yourself based on what another person wants. But when you're doing it based on skin color, I think that's when things are really problematic. If I see someone whose skin color is different, I'm not just going to start changing the way I talk and stuff. Now, if I see...
But, I would say, the people focused on skin color and shit is, conservatives. They're constantly talking about it. They're obsessed. We had a right-winger in chat last night, and, he was the one that brought it up. He was like, you guys are going to call me racist. I'm like, you're the one that brought up race. It's
right, and I think both sides have become way too hyperbolic on race. both sides are just, I don't know, it annoys me because I chew out conservatives all the time for bringing up race and stuff. I'm like, why does this matter? I was like, none of this matters. And
it's like, that's what they run on. They're like DEI, that's their new way of like, anytime somebody who's like, might look like you too, you're a little swarthy, is in a position of power, they automatically assume that they didn't earn it.
Now that's a problem if they assume someone didn't earn it.
That's all they do.
Yeah, but when a business is openly talking about like their diversity, equity, and inclusion,
but that's just capitalist marketing.
I hate that, and all of that stuff is
corporate pandering.
Right, and I just can't stand it because if someone tells me, "Hey, yeah, we hired you because you're Native American," I'm like, "Oh, so you think I can't do the job?"
So you should be a leftist. You come over to the leftist side. Like,
a lot of the left is what's pushing that too, though. Is they're like, well, he's Native American. He should get an opportunity.
Are they?
And I'm like, I'd rather my skills speak for themselves.
But I don't hear leftists saying that. I hear right-wingers saying that leftists say that.
I've seen quite a few, and we had one when I worked at Google. This was really bad. And it actually infuriated me. We had a girl who's, actually, no, I'm not going to say her name. This little tiny blonde girl who,
outer.
Yeah, right. No, I would rather not. That's a can of worms I don't want to open. And we all got hired on and everything, and this drove me nuts because she was not hired on. She was not specifically hired on for diversity, equity, or inclusion. A couple other people were. And she wanted to fit in and was the absolute most obnoxiously political person. Every word someone would say, it was just, oh, well, you hate women, or, oh, you hate Democrats and stuff like that. You're probably Republican. And it was just like, I just made a joke, relax, and she ended up telling everyone months later that when she came out of the closet, that she was a diversity hire. And I was like, why are you telling people that? No, you weren't. You were hired before anyone knew that about you. And was super proud to be announcing that I'm a diversity hire. And I was just kind of blown away because I was like, well, that should be a compliment to you if you actually were a diversity hire. But even so, I still wouldn't. I'd rather people know myself that I got the job because I was good at it, not because I was a diversity hire. And I see this all the time with people.
Well, see, here's the thing that this is the problem with anecdotes, right? Is I don't know if maybe you have an internal bias. Maybe she was saying like she was being sarcastic about it. She's an overtly political person, and she's actually mocking right-wingers. Oh, I'm a diversity hire and shit. And she's just making a joke and was really bad at it. And your bias kind of, interpreted it the wrong way. Once again, this goes back to conservatives and their feels.
Well, look at what, have you been following the Harley Davidson stuff or just what came out about the Ford DEI stuff?
Brother, they saw the shit that, conservatives did to Bud Light. It's amazing because Anheuser-Busch has been, one of the most consistently Republican donator throughout the years, and then the conservative media just turned on them because they did one stupid marketing campaign. It's insane.
Well, I think the big problem is Dylan Mulvaney was coming out and openly saying, talking about the whole trans kids thing, and that just
the conservatives are against free speech.
I don't think that's necessarily free speech when it comes to wanting to convert children on a medical level.
Convert children on a medical level. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying something that doesn't exist.
Well, what do you mean?
And this also goes back to right-wingers are constantly focused on trans kids. So weird.
An entire hospital got busted and shut down for it over in the UK.
Oh my God, the Tarbin Pinto. I don't forget the fucking name of whatever the fuck it is. Man, that's not what you guys have made it out to be. You've listened to right-wing media. You got the right-wing media brain. They're opening another clinic. It's like there's nobody trying to trans your kids.
Well, it was the internal email that was released.
Oh my God.
No, I mean, it was a corporate email. You know?
I like that said fucking what, man?
So they. Oh, let me. Actually, I'd rather just pull it up. What was that?
And like, why would you give a shit about people having access to gender affirming care? Like, why is that such an issue for right wingers that you'll vote for a fascist ass motherfucker that's gonna come in here and round up people and put them on a train and send them out of the country?
So I can't agree that Trump is in any way, shape.
He's also a pedophile, you know? Like,
wait, what?
he's also a pedophile.
Wait, how is Trump a pedophile?
He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. His name appears 8 times in Epstein's contacts. He gave the prosecutor that got Epstein off. I said it was Alex Azar the other day. It was Alex Acosta. Gave him a cabinet position in his administration. Quoted as saying, good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. We both like young women. And was sued multiple times by one of the victims for rape of a child with Jeffrey Epstein.
Well,
is that not enough evidence?
That would be if it were true.
But all of it was true. Everything I just fucking said was true.
No.
Yes.
The only thing on file that Trump has ever said about Epstein was when he got weird with his daughter and kicked him out Mar-a-Lago.
Oh my God, this is what every dumb fuck right-winger says.
But the flight dates match up with that completely. I don't think Trump would have remembered that from 20 years ago. I don't think he would have remembered the exact dates.
And you just said that was the only quote he had about Epstein. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. This was in 2002.
Let's see. Where was this? What was?
And I have no idea why he might have had a falling out. Trump is very petty. There's a million different reasons why he might have had a falling out with the guy, and not because like I feel that he would have a problem with pedophilia, because he clearly likes young women.
Let's see. Where did he quote this at? Because it says the quote, but there is no source to. What the heck? Okay, where did he even say this at?
I just read you the quote, man.
Let's see.
This was in, yes, New York Magazine. Trump told New York Magazine in 2002.
But here's the thing, too. So where were those flight logs of Trump? Where did they go? Because they never made it.
I have no idea about the flight logs because we don't have the complete logs, but we know that he was 8 different times mentioned in Epstein's contacts.
Right, but I mean, let's say he was mentioned 8 times. I mean, look at Bill Clinton and how many times he was in.
Fuck Bill Clinton, dude. Fuck that pedophile.
But the thing about it is
you're supporting a pedophile, and that's really weird.
I need proof that he's a pedophile. I can't just call people pedophiles.
There's just as much proof, and if not more proof, that he's a pedophile as Bill Clinton, and I want to lock Bill Clinton up too. Prince Andrew, lock that weird motherfucker up.
Well, sure, but like I said...
Yeah, sure, Trump, too.
Well, no, before I would call for any of them to get locked up, I would want solid proof that it happened. You know what I mean?
What do you need? I mean, we have eyewitness testimony. They sued.
If someone is hanging out with... And we also have
and somebody says, they raped me on Epstein Island. We have...
Sure, but who said that about Trump, though?
Well, it was a Jane Doe.
Well, no, the Jane Doe ended up saying Trump wasn't there, but she remembers Bill Clinton being there. And I think she said Stephen Hawking as well.
I'm not sure that that's ever happened, but I totally know she filed the lawsuit first in New York and then in LA. I have the lawsuit.
The lawsuit for Trump getting sued for...
I think you are confusing that with someone else. I think that was the one that was accusing Prince Andrew. Because there were a lot of women that were trafficked, my friend.
I don't think there was ever anybody who said he was... I don't think that's quite it. They said, "Oh, why?"
Well, his public comments about his own daughter are creepy enough. Like, that's enough reason to disqualify him if you want to do it on feels. Not to mention that he's a fucking grifter. You want to talk about grifters, Trump is the king of grifters.
Well, so when I look at Trump's history of everything he's ever promised or done, like
being a grifter,
70s, 80s, and 90s, him fixing up that entire ice rink for those people because New York couldn't get it done, him saving Atlanta from the absolute brink of destruction back in...
Do you know what PR spin is, my friend? Do you know how big of a huge liar Trump is?
I'm not saying he...
Everything he has touched has just turned to complete shit throughout his entire life.
Because, I mean, look at
100%.
New York in the 70s. I mean, he had so much infrastructure there. He built New York back from a huge... he was actually one of the biggest backers of Rudy Giuliani back whenever he...
Rudy Giuliani is a fucking nut job and should have never been anywhere near this
what he did?
being a mayor.
Well, do you know what he did about in New York as a mayor? Or, I mean, wait, was it mayor or governor?
He was mayor of New York City.
Mayor. That's right. So the mayor...
He was mayor during the late 90s when the entire fucking country was booming.
Well...
He was mayor during the late 90s when the entire country was booming.
Right, but he ended up blocking away more mafia...
And he did it on behalf of his Russian backers. We learned all of this. Yeah, he took down the Italian mafia on behalf of the Russians.
I don't think that's true.
That is absolutely true. Rudy Giuliani is one of the absolute most corrupt motherfuckers ever. And like the fact that you even in 2024 that you're bringing up Rudy Giuliani as some bastion of virtue is insane to me.
Well, I mean,
how old are you?
Really good job. 32. But he did a really good job.
No, he didn't. He was just mayor of New York during the late 90s when the entire country... My mom test drove Mercedes and we were poor as shit. But she thought she was good enough to buy a Mercedes in like 1998 because all of us were fucking... The economy was the tech bubble. It was insane. Sure. You just had to be there.
Good. Well, yeah, but I don't think the economy being good would have had as much to do with, you know, him getting rid of the mafia and his policies.
On behalf of the Russians.
He does not have any connections to...
Yes, he does.
He is not a Russian.
Go listen to the Lev Parnas testimony.
Yeah, I'm not going to trust that Steele dossier or anything along those lines of that investigation since it was all debunked.
Yeah, you're not going to trust anything that goes against your already held beliefs.
No, it was debunked. I mean, the Steele dossier was complete trash. Complete bunk.
I didn't mention the Steele dossier. I said go listen to the Lev Parnas testimony because he was the Giuliani associate that has testified in front of Congress that Giuliani is full of shit and working for the Russians.
Well, sure. I mean, he can go and say that. I'm not...
In front of Congress under oath.
Brother,
how embarrassing has Giuliani been in the last few years, and you're still defending him?
Let me put it this way:
the Four Seasons Hotel, the fucking the hair dye running down his face. He farted in the middle of a courtroom while he was getting smacked down by judge after judge after judge in the election case, and that's why he has been disbarred. That's why he's got charges in 2 different states.
Well, here's what I have to say about that for the most part. Do you trust, like, his statement under oath?
What statement under oath did Giuliani make?
Oh, anytime he's been under oath, do you trust any of his statements?
Which statement specifically? You have to tell me. I wouldn't trust him, no, and he is once again being prosecuted for, committing fraud.
Right.
Has been committed. Has been prosecuted. Remember the poll workers in Georgia? They fucking sued for defamation. Won. He had to pay that shit out, and that's why he broke. Well, because he defamed those women. Because he's a lying sack of shit. Yeah, remember when he tried to pull his dick out in the fucking Borat movie?
Actually, I did not.
That was the girl was okay. So the girl was not underage, but she was playing a 15-year-old. And for all intents and purposes, Giuliani thought she was 15. And they go into the room, and then Sacha Baron Cohen, I think half naked, because it's Sacha Baron Cohen,
Right.
busts into the room and is like, she's 15! Put your dick away!
I need to watch that movie
It is hilarious.
about it. But no, so a couple things that I don't like to trust. When it comes to civil cases, that cannot, a lot of civil cases are overreaching and they are ruling in favor of.
You apparently don't trust criminal cases either, because the George
No, I
Floyd
trust
thing.
criminal, for the most part.
Oh, but that one because you disagree with it. That one we got to
Because they want
disregard.
testimony to convict him. I can't agree with that, and that's not how courts.
There weren't just testimony.
There what?
There wasn't just testimony.
I didn't see any evidence in his court case at all, in any hard concrete evidence that he did what was claimed of him. And that's kind of a big issue that I have.
Huh?
I didn't see any communications between him and Russians. I didn't see any fraudulent documents from him or anything like that. It was a lot of testimony and a lot of people who didn't like him, as far as I'm concerned, that were saying things about him. I don't know if what they were saying was true or not, but I don't like to trust testimony. I don't like to trust civil cases who think that they can, as a judge in a civil courtroom, also thinks that he can rule on a crime and not have a crime committed.
That's what a court is.
Not a civil court. A civil court cannot ever find you guilty of a crime.
Well, I don't understand what you're talking. The civil court finding you guilty of a crime. I mean, a civil court can adjudicate fraud cases, for instance.
They can.
Fraud is a crime.
Investigation.
That is a civil violation.
No.
The
Civil
state
is
can
only between two people, typically. So let's say if I go to sue anyone, on the pretenses of I want to get paid or I need to sue this person for wronging me, it's a civil case, not a misdemeanor. It's not a criminal.
Well, yeah. You don't have to explain court to me, brother.
So whenever we use like a good example, people are always try to say, well, Trump was found guilty of doing what he did to E. Jean Carroll.
He was found liable of rape. If they say guilty, they're just misusing the terminology. He was found liable of rape.
Well, no, he was found liable of sexual assault. They deemed that he was not found liable of rape.
The reason why they say it's rape is because in New York City, like, rape is a different statute, and they don't consider penetration with a digit rape. But the federal definition considers penetration with a digit rape. Normal parlance considers penetration with a digit rape. So he was found liable of what most people would consider rape.
Sure, but here's the problem. It's in the civil court. They don't have the jurisdiction or the authority.
But that was their, in order to prove defamation, she had to prove that she was raped.
Right, and how did she even come close to proving that?
I didn't keep up with like the day-to-day testimony and shit.
Well,
I don't know what the jury heard. Why are you questioning the jury? Like what
they did was hear something. They never.
But that's what a jury does. That's literally what they're
no.
impaneled to do.
The jury is supposed to make a decision based on evidence, not based on circumstance.
That is presented to them in a case.
Sure.
There's plenty of cases where there's he said, she said, and that's all it really comes down to.
Yes, and everyone.
You're not gonna have DNA evidence and everything.
Right, but you can't find somebody guilty at that point if you don't have.
You can. You absolutely can, because you can establish that this is a pattern in their behavior. You can have multiple credible witnesses compared to their no witnesses that testify on their behalf. You can make it? You can make that case.
Our governments and courts specifically protect us against that. Specifically, you cannot have.
No, they don't. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, they do. It's called a witch hunt. If you get a lot of people...
a witch hunt is back in the day when they used to accuse people of being witches and burn them at the stake.
Well, how many people would come in and say they definitely...
But there's no statute against fucking the prosecution using character witnesses and multiple eyewitness testimony in order to establish their... And if they convince a jury, that's all that matters.
No.
Yes. That's how it works.
No.
Yes.
No, that's not.
Yes. That's exactly how it
It's a
works.
jury and get punished because.
Yes, you can.
Okay, do you know the quote Benjamin Franklin gave for this? He would rather see 100 men of guilt walk away before one innocent man gets locked away in prison.
Okay, cool. I'm all for prison reform.
Founded in our Constitution.
But that's not where is that found in our Constitution?
Okay.
You just gave me a spurious quote.
Let me see here. I can pull it up. We are not supposed to find anybody guilty just based on word of mouth. That is the most, one of the most fascist things we could be doing.
Not a thing. Well, I'm not talking. You can establish motive. You can establish that.
You can establish things, but you have to have a concrete piece of evidence to find.
There is nothing that says that. There's no statute. It's not in the Constitution.
Absolutely.
You're smoking crack, brother.
No. Here, let me pull it up.
Please.
Yeah, it's let's see.
Thought it for me. This is gonna be good.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's see.
I want to find the law, not someone's opinion here.
Exactly, motherfucker. There is no law. There's a law that you can't use eyewitness testimony in court somewhere.
So you can say I did, but there has to be some sort of evidence that something took.
Eyewitness testimony is evidence.
Well, it can be.
If everybody sees you fucking mow somebody down and testifies to it.
But that's the point of evidence, because if somebody gets mowed down, there's going to be a bullet in them. There's going to be something that happened. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so Trump's fraud case, there were ledgers and documents.
Well, the problem with Trump's fraud case, this is total BS.
Oh my God, brother! You do not believe in our legal system.
Who can appraise a home or a property?
They're called appraisers.
Yes, not one appraiser ever went to court to testify against Trump. Not one. The case was not brought forward by an appraiser. It was not brought forward by the bank. It was not brought forward by anybody other than the judge himself.
He committed fraud, and they proved it,
How?
and the jury agreed.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No. Every single bank that he worked with said he absolutely did not commit any fraud.
No, they didn't.
Alone.
No, they didn't testify to that. No.
Yes, they did.
No.
Not one bank.
No. And like it wouldn't be a bank, on a bank, because also they wouldn't admit to something like that because
Hold on.
that would look bad on them.
Who
We let this dude defraud us.
would have been screwed over in that deal?
The American people. The people of New York, absolutely. If he is devaluing his assets for the purposes of taxes and then
But how
inflating them,
Trump doesn't have authority.
there's only a finite amount of money. Brother.
Do that? No, he doesn't have the authority.
Oh yeah. He can't just hire his buddy to appraise his fucking shit, man. Like,
Sure.
come the fuck on. It's all these greasy business motherfuckers. Why do you defend them? Once again, the problem is all these rich motherfuckers getting away with this shit. I can't, if I go to a bank and inflate my assets in order to obtain a loan, they absolutely will fucking come after me for fraud.
You can't inflate your assets though. Only an appraiser can. If the appraiser is the only person.
Yeah, and I'm not a socialite that claims to be a billionaire that people want to impress.
Sure, but that's my point. I can't go to a doctor, ask him to give me drugs, and then him give me drugs, and me get arrested for the doctor giving me drugs. You know what I'm saying? The doctor would be responsible for that.
Actually, you can, like, it's called doctor shopping. If you're going around, like, there are several different laws that
That's
would
a different thing,
hold
though.
you
If I
accountable.
go to a single doctor friend and I don't doctor shop, then I'm not breaking that law. But if a doctor gives me drugs, extra drugs that he's not supposed to give me, because I can ask for anything I want. I can ask for extra money on my house. If someone gives it to me, that doesn't mean I broke the law. I would have to somehow.
It does if you have falsified documents to obtain it. That is fraud.
How did Trump falsify?
That is fraud. If you are inflating your assets to receive. Yes, it is. It is literally fraud.
I can ask for $1 million for my house. If someone pays it to me, that doesn't mean I broke the law. Absolutely not.
That is not analogous to what is going on here. We're talking about bank loans. If you are fraudulently claiming you have assets to back a loan, you are committing fraud.
Well, no.
Yes, literally committing fraud, brother. You are literally committing fraud to do that.
So
And that is what the prosecution proved. Oh my God. And the jury agreed, and
yeah,
boom.
I don't care what the jury agreed. I could show you.
I know you don't. Man.
No, just listen.
No, brother. Like we're done here. We're gonna get to the news.
No, do you know how much the house was worth?
I have no fucking idea, man. I'm not stuck up Trump's ass.
But I do. And I could show.
I don't give a shit. This is like the thing with the fentanyl with George Floyd. You're like, I don't trust the jury. All I have is my feels.
It's that I have physical proof of how much his assets are worth.
Oh my God. You have physical proof of how much his assets are worth based on who? He's been very secretive about his finances.
He doesn't have to be secretive. It's public knowledge. Do you know how it's public knowledge?
It's not public knowledge.
Yes, it
because
is.
Trump Org is a private company.
If you have a home in good condition, it is going to be worth the comps that are around your house.
It is still just a fucking estimate, brother. This is you wanting to get into like minute details to say, see, you don't know everything, so we can disregard what the jury heard. They're the ones that heard the case and decided it, and I can't accept reality. So this is what the kids call cope.
No, it's not.
You hyper focus on one. This is called cherry picking.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
This is called cherry picking.
Okay, cherry picking. Okay, they said his property was not worth a certain amount. His property's worth well over that certain amount. How is that?
And now the chat has redeemed their points to get you to go away. So, Arthemesia, please plug yourself. Tell us about your channel.
Well, my channel it's Arthemesia. I also do a little bit of true crime and music. But my main channel is Arthemesia on YouTube. I mainly do.
Who's your 3 or 4 top acts? Well, who you like?
Top acts?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like in kind
music?
of
Music, yeah. No.
Music?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those oh God, my top Winter Sun's definitely at the top, 100%.
I have to check them out on your rec.
Winter
I'll
Sun
do it.
is insane. I'm telling you, they'll blow your mind. It's his album Time 2 is coming out, and in one song it has over 1,000 tracks layered of orchestrations, metal music.
Okay, I'm interested. I'll give it. Sounds a bit much, but we'll see. You piqued my interest.
My soft spots when you when you go to music, I can't turn down music talk.
That's what I was telling the chat. We talked about music all fucking day. We bonded over it. I hope we're friends now, man. Do you have a much different opinion of me?
Do you listen to Dream Theater, right?
Oh yeah. 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence was the very first album I had.
Yeah. So, okay.
Oh yeah. They also want to see your dog before you go.
Oh. Bishop. Hey.
Bishop.
You come here.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
We had another dog named King, and I thought it was just such a generic name. I was like, how about chess pieces whenever we get them together? And unfortunately, he didn't really like Bishop much, so he had to stay at my parents' house. Then, unfortunately, King got old and pancreatic cancer and passed a few months ago, so
I hate to hear that.
Squishy-faced boxer.
Oh, I love boxers.
But, what I wanted to point out... So John Petrucci, I'm sure you do you know the Dream Theater members by name?
I know of drummer. What's his name was
Mike Portnoy.
Yeah, Portnoy, and he just got back with him.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'll tell you in a second. I get news about Dream Theater all the time before it comes out. I got a buddy who's in a band with Mike Portnoy's son, Max Portnoy, and his Justin Bonnet's. Very, very, very cool guy. I consider him a friend, 100%. Genuinely cool guy. And he was telling me John Petrucci, he's pretty conservative, very, very conservative guy. And Mike Portnoy is very hyper liberal.
I could totally see that.
Those two have been best friends, God, since before, I think they knew each other before they were a band.
Are you doing like an Ebony and Ivory thing?
Yeah.
Are we Stevie and Elton over here?
I mean, why not? You know? But, you know, it's just one of those things to where it's like, hey, they get along. More people should be. You know, there's no reason because...
We had a good productive conversation, but I also think like the conservative position is complete. I think I did a good job of pointing that out.
I understand how people, you know, come to all those different conclusions of being anti-liberal, anti-conservative, or anti-libertarian in general. I see all the, you know, the negative parts of it and the positive parts too. Like, there's a lot of positive parts to Democrats that a lot of people won't acknowledge today. And there's a lot of parts that I think are conservative that a lot of people are not acknowledging at all today. And especially libertarian as well. But, man, libertarian can go way too creepyville at times.
Oh, exactly. I was getting ready to say, so we watched the Libertarian Convention, right? And so we would agree with 60%, 70% of what somebody would say, and then they just go off the fucking rails. It's like, well, now,
Right.
well, you had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
Exactly. Like when they got to the, God, I went to one, not went to one, but I saw one where they were talking about like trying to legalize heroin for everyone. Like just straight
They
up
should.
the needle and everything.
That was
God.
my very first day in economics class in 2002. The economics professor was like, if you want to reduce drug usage, if you want to reduce drug deaths, if you want to reduce dependency, legalize all drugs across the board. And he fucking worked it out, and like he convinced me. I'm like, I'm there.
I think any drug that is not physically addictive should be legalized.
All drugs. Everything's physically addictive. Coca-Cola is physically addictive. Sugar, physically
I think Coca-Cola
addictive.
should be banned, in my opinion, now.
I can agree with you on that. But then again, that comes back to the freedom thing. You got to give people
Right,
choices.
no, exactly.
And I like a good Coke every now and again. And if you do things in moderation, it's not bad for you. What's bad is that, you know, we let corporations put Coke machines in schools, which they did away with that eventually.
I think it's even worse than that was when Coke changed their formula, and I'm pretty sure they did it by disguising, you know, the whole new Coke debacle. I'm trying to look into it, but I think the new Coke debacle was so they could give people a really crappy tasting drink for a bit, switch it back to their old formula, but instead of real sugar, they switched it with corn syrup. And
Oh, yeah.
is not digestible. Any corn products aren't digestible.
And that's because of all the corn subsidies and shit we give to red states. But that's an argument for another time. My man, it was great talking to you. I gotta get to the news.
Hey, you too, man.
Have a good one, brother.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
I think that was a lot of fun. Thank you very much. I saw Cosmic Fox wanting to kick my ass, so I knew I had to go. Here's your meme of the day.